So after about almost 7 years of having my license, something that I never really thought could ever happen to me at this point, finally happened. And that would be the fact that I hit a deer on the way to work and look at the front end of the Infiniti. And I said the beginning line because over the course of having my license for almost 7 years now, I'm about to be 23, I got it whenever I was 16, have never hit a deer. But now it's become something that's a lot more easier to happen to me because recently I've been doing 4 to 12:30, 4 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and at that point in time there is a lot of deers out on the road. A lot of times they move out of the way because these cars are kind of loud, or I'm able to stop and not hit them. But 3 days ago, one ran out in front of me and I absolutely smashed into it. I wasn't able to see what even happened to it because it flew across the road, and based on the collision I really didn't think that much of stuff happened, but as you can see, it absolutely destroyed this trim piece. It's gonna need a whole new front bumper. I don't know if this piece comes with the trim. Maybe we don't need a new logo. But yeah, so the Infiniti is gonna need a whole new front bumper. And the unfortunate thing about that is I just scheduled service, went through insurance. It turns out it is gonna be free. I won't have to pay my deductible or anything like that. I think my deductible is $500, so it wouldn't have been terrible, but it's nice to not have to pay anything for it. The shop can't see it until January 11th. And I submitted the claim on December 11th, so by the time you guys are seeing this video, it's probably been a couple of days. But there's basically a month until they even just see the car, so I don't know if they're ordering the bumper and the different trim pieces yet, or if they do that once they see the car. I did have to submit photos with my claims, so maybe they are able to order those in advance, but that means basically it's gonna be probably 6 weeks till possibly the Infiniti is back in 100% condition. There is no check engine lights or anything on it right now. It didn't look like the radiator got punctured or anything, you know, inside of here got damaged or could possibly be broke. I don't know for sure, but in the time that I've driven this car back home after work and stuff, it didn't give me any problems, so I'm assuming that everything is fine. It's just cosmetically there's damage. But I guess a positive maybe is, I don't know if it's just the way that the bumper is, but if you look at it, I don't know if the front bumper was replaced before because it kind of looks like it's a different color, but that could just be because maybe the bumper is like plastic and the side and the hood are metal. I don't know entirely if that's why, but it was something that I did notice. Maybe that is just how it's supposed to look because, you know, it's a different material that you're working with, so it's going to be a different color once you paint it and everything. Other than that though, the Infiniti really hasn't given me any problems in the time that I've owned it. I've really been enjoying the car. You can even see over here. The Subaru has been on a battery tender for a bit because I haven't been driving it as much, so I just wanted to make sure that the battery is always charged for you know, a case where I do take it out, because I had driven this car for so long that I actually managed to kill the battery on this, so I've kind of just left it on the tender ever since. So I've been driving this a lot more often. I'm actually brainstorming some more videos we can do on this car because I know it's kind of like done, but I feel like it needs a lot more attention in certain areas. We talk about paint, different smaller cosmetic mods that would maybe look better on this car. But I mean, for the most part, not that it's done, but it is at a good place right now where I'm happy with it. Back to the Infiniti, there is still some more mods that are actually on the way, or I'm going to be ordering very soon for us to do to it. So it does kind of suck that maybe whenever these different mods are coming and stuff like that, I'm installing them. I don't really get to drive the car. I'm still going to drive it occasionally, but something about driving it when it looks like this is just so discouraging and just sucks. But like I said, it's not like it has any check engine lights or, you know, any warning signs that maybe something is wrong, so I still feel comfortable driving it. And from like my visual inspection and looking around a little bit, it's not like the radiator got punctured or there's no liquid spilling on the ground or anything. It just looks like it's cosmetically shot in the front. But in terms of upgrades that we have coming, pretty much this whole car is going to be running AMS Performance parts. They're just a company that I saw that a lot of people in the Infiniti space supported. I know you can run like Racebox and they're a really good tuner, but I figure that if I'm running all AMS parts, maybe I should just use them for tuning, even just their off-the-shelf or even custom calibrated tuning. I feel like would be better because it's all their parts. They should know how the car should run the best. And I also saw a post where they've been making a lot of good records or hitting a lot of new records with the VR30 engines. Now obviously they're working with like stage 3 blocks and stuff, not a stock block that you just get from the factory. But even so, it just feels like a trustful company to be buying parts from. So the route that we're kind of going with this car is eventually I do want to get the full RA500 kit, so that's 500 wheel horsepower. But in terms of just making this car feel a lot better from stock, I'm kind of just working my way up to stage 3, and then once we hit stage 3, I believe all I need is just full downpipes, and right now I just have lower downpipes, so we just have to swap that out with full downpipes. and then from there we pretty much have the 500. Whereas on the Stage 3 that we're building to right now, it's going to be 450 wheel horsepower. So I mean, 450 wheel horsepower, 500 torque, that is going to be pretty wild. So in terms of what still needs replaced, as I said, we already have the lower downpipe, so that's one piece of the puzzle. We do have to replace these intakes on both sides, so hopefully we're going to get a lot more turbo noise once we add those in. Even just if they didn't add anything to the car, like horsepower wise, I think that the car's going to sound a lot better with a lot more induction noise, because the WRX has an aftermarket air intake, and I think you can hit the turbo spool a lot more. On that car, it's also just a lot more raw. There's not as like much insulation and stuff, but I'm hoping that once we put this in there, you're going to be able to hear the turbo spool a lot more. And then there's really only one more thing left that we have to put on, and that is the red alpha heat exchanger. It would be nice if while they were swapping out the bumper, I could just be like, hey guys, can you pop this on for me? Because I believe you do have to pull off the whole front bumper, so that way you can actually access the heat exchanger and swap it out. And that's going to be a little bit of a bigger job. And it's kind of more on the expensive side. I didn't expect it to be as expensive as it was. I think it's like $800 or something. But they are running a Christmas sale, so that's good. Buy some parts where they're a little bit cheaper. Once we swap that out, we just have to get the tuner for it. And the tuner is actually on the way. I kept putting off ordering it because different things would happen that I'm like, well, maybe I'll wait a little bit. Like I had to get a new battery for this car. I think when I bought it from the dealership, they never swapped out the battery or something. So now I got an Optima battery in it, and that should be a lot better. They're kind of a more trustworthy brand in my opinion for batteries. Every single car that I've had where we put a red Optima in it, it hasn't really given any problems. Then the car got hit and I thought, well, gotta pay out $500, so we'll just take that out of the tuner budget. But since we don't have to pay that anymore, I went ahead and ordered it, so we should be getting that soon, and we can pop the tuner on here. And at least until we get things like the intake or the heat exchanger on it, we can still run Red Sport levels of power. So even just 100 horsepower over stock, it's going to feel like a lot. Sure, it's going to be at the same level that you could get if you just bought the Red Sport, but to me, having driven this car for about 6 months now and only experiencing the 300 wheel horsepower, it's going to be a big difference over that. And then to hopefully in the next coming month or so bump it up to 450 wheel horsepower is going to be another big jump. And then hopefully a little bit after that, we're able to get the RA500, which I looked, and actually we do have to get a flex fuel kit and we have to get fuel pumps. So it's a little bit more than I initially thought, but we're still going to be making 500 wheel horsepower, which is going to be over, I think, base GTR horsepower, maybe. So hopefully after we get a couple more mods bolted onto this thing, we're going to be making crazy horsepower, fast as a GTR, maybe. But that's what the current plans are for the Infiniti. Tuner should be here soon, so I'll have a video of us setting all that up and everything so that we can get this car to 400 wheel horsepower. It sucks that we got this minor setback of hitting a deer and having to get the whole front bumper replaced and everything, but we're still going to be chugging along trying to get this thing to the point that I want it in terms of power. There still is some cosmetic mods that I'd like to do to it. I really do like the carbon fiber fenders and hood combo. Like on the front end, it just looks so good whenever somebody has carbon fiber fenders and a hood. Ooh, I just like that look so much. And then also I was thinking about getting one of those lip spoilers, but they also make a carbon fiber trunk. I think it's CMST Tuning or something that sells it. They sell a whole carbon fiber trunk that comes with the lip. So I was kind of just thinking about getting that. So if we get the trunk and we get the front fenders and the hood, I think that would be looking pretty sweet. Thought about doing a chrome delete too, but honestly, the chrome has been growing on me since I bought it. I think, of course, the whole car would look good blacked out with no chrome, but I also do think that the chrome looks really good. It does need new wheels though. I don't know, I'm just not the biggest fan of this, so whenever I bought the car, I was like, dang, who is driving this thing? Look at this curb rash. But that's kind of an update on what the plans are for the Infiniti and what happened to it. But at least it's still drivable. It's not totaled. I definitely could have been a lot worse. Just having this little, like, you know, minor cosmetic problem and like not really having a check engine light or like major mechanical malfunction or anything like that, I think is really good. So definitely could have been a lot worse, but it just sucks to have this set back to our plans for the Infiniti. But I feel like you guys deserved an update. You deserve to know what's going on, and hopefully you can share some of my pain that I have right now for the Infiniti. We can get this thing back up and running, back on track for the different mods that we have for it and plans that we have that we want to get done. And you know, I'm excited for you guys to see it whenever it's all finished and the different path that we took to get it to a level that could maybe beat a Nissan GTR. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all you guys' support. Hopefully you've been enjoying the content, and I got some cool stuff coming hopefully for both cars that you'll be interested in. Thanks so much for watching. See ya!